Dear friends, welcome back to Automate with Rakesh. In this video, I have designed the course for the UiPath beginners. If you would like to learn the latest UiPath, this is the video for you. I am going to talk everything from the scratch so that it helps you as a beginner to learn UiPath. So why delay? Let's get started. So the very first step is you go to uipath.com. So simply type uipath.com. This is the site you would find, uipath.com. I'm going to click on the site. On this site, if you look at on the right hand side top corner, there is a button called Try UiPath Free. All you have to do simply click on this button. Wait for a few seconds, and this is the page that you would find. On this page, do not directly go ahead and enter your email address. Here there is something called Get Automation Cloud for Community. As a community free user, if you would like to start, this is the link you need to click. So let me click on Get Automation Cloud for Community link. After that, it has a bit of description here. You can see UiPath Automation Cloud for Community. UiPath Automation Cloud for Community is free for personal and non-commercial use, non-business use. Build and test automation with Studio, run automations through robots that work with your application. So all those features you will get. So this is the place you have to come. After that, on the right hand side, you have to enter your email address. So let me enter my email address and the password. So once you enter, all you have to do, hit on create account. Because I have already an existing account, I do not want to create multiple accounts. So what is the step after that? Once you create account, let me show you the steps. After this step, after you hit the create account, next the uipath.com is going to send a verification code to verify your email address. So what you do, you enter the verification code on the page. So it will ask for entering the verification code, pretty simple one, as you sign into any web page for the first time. So it will ask for the verification code, enter it. After that, it will ask you enter your full name. So whatever your full name is, enter that, and then enter the country. Pretty simple steps, and you can easily follow that on screen. After that, the important point, it will ask for enter cloud organization name. For example, your name is, let's say my name is Rakesh. I'm going to create an org called Rakesh Test ORG, or you can choose a very specific name based on your choice. So once you do that, simply click create organization. So in my case, I already have an account, so I'm going to hit on sign in and select my account and continue with that account. So once you continue, once your account is created, it will take few seconds, and then this is the page that you should see. It will say, it will take your name, and then the organization name. Here I have given ABCDRAK as my org name that time. So it is like that. So here you would find your org name after cloud.uipath.com. So do you see that? Please do comment in the video section. Now from here, our next step is to download Studio. To download Studio, all you have to do, click on this download Studio button. This is available if you click on these dots in the home page. In the home page itself, this button is available. I'm going to click on download Studio. Now let us wait for the entire file to download. So now my download is complete. If you have downloaded the community edition, you will see this word UiPath Studio community.msi. I'm also going to tell you the direct option is from the home where you could download. There is also another option. Here you see a question mark. You can click on the question mark and go to downloads. In the future, if you like to reinstall or something like that. So come here and there you find downloads. So it takes you to the resource center, and from the resource center you would find, so I have an enterprise edition license I can download. So the enterprise latest edition is 2023.10.4, and the UiPath community edition, which is this is like most stable version. It is a stable one for enterprise companies do not want to use the current one, right? Experimental ones. So and this is the one which is under community preview. So this is here you will always find the latest available thing. So if you are downloading into the future, the version could be slightly different, but that doesn't stop you learning UiPath. So why delay? These are the multiple options I've shown you. Now I have downloaded. Let me click on this downloads and double click on this file. This is the window you would see after you double click on that or click on that. These are two options: quick recommended for community users, and the second option is custom recommended for enterprise or advanced user. Now what we would do, we would simply go with the community users. We'll not go with the second option. We'll go with the quick recommended for community users. And here you have the license agreement. Go through the license agreement and then hit on install. I'm going to hit on install button. This will go through couple of series of installation in the background. Wherever it prompts something, I'm going to let you know. You might see this prompt if your Chrome is open. It says if you want to continue installing the UiPath extension for Chrome, please close all your Chrome process, then click OK. So we will do a lot of web automation, browser automation. So that's why it requires an extension to be installed. All you have to do, click on OK. And then it says Chrome browser process are still running. Do you want to force close them? Click OK to continue. So I'm going to click on OK. So now you can see completed the UiPath setup, and I also have got icons of UiPath. Launch UiPath Studio. Let me hit on this particular one. Now look at this. Jump start your automation journey by capturing and documenting known tasks. Get comprehensive picture of what needs to be automated. Go ahead and get started. So it is giving a bit of information for you. All you do, simply hit on launch UiPath Studio. And now you can see my UiPath Studio is trying to open, and it will ask you, hey, you have to sign in. You remember all our browsers are closed now. All I'm doing, simply hitting on sign in. Pretty simple option. So once you do that, it brings you this page. It will bring you this page, and here it tells you this is your account. Rakesh874 is your account, and it will give you a small prompt. Okay, for I have checked that prompt last time, so it still remembers it. So you get a small prompt, allow UiPath, and hit on open UiPath, and that will automatically sign you in. You can go through this tutorials here available just to understand how to use it, but again, anyways, I'm going to explain it. So I'm going to click on close. So now here you can see I have logged in to my UiPath Studio, and what is the version that I'm using? On the left bottom corner, you see that 2024.2.1. If you are doing it in the future, it could be slightly a different version, but most of the things would remain same as a beginner to learn. So let us click on close and learn how you start in UiPath Studio. What is the very first thing you should do on UiPath Studio? Before you get started by creating a new project, there are few things you must understand. The very first, there are three important components of UiPath, or the core components. Three core components of UiPath that you need to understand. What are the very first one you have seen, UiPath Studio, which you have currently logged in. The second one is UiPath Assistant. So what is this assistant? Let us first see that. Now for this, go to your Windows and search for UiPath Assistant. So you see this UiPath Assistant. Click on this. When you click on this, what it does, for the very first time when you open, it will be blank. And here you see a green symbol. That means you have logged in and you have signed in. So there's a green signal. If there's a red, that means you are disconnected. So here, if you see, it has logged into my tenant. So you would find certain name here, tenant colon automate with Rakesh. Now, if you have multiple tenants, it will also allow you to change it. So you can see your tenant name will be available here. The very first thing what you need to do is go to preferences. Go to orchestrator settings. Here you would see the service URL, which would be cloud.uipath.com, and it should say connected, licensed, ADR protection not detected. So this is how the green signal in the UiPath assistant is important. Now the question is, what is what? In UiPath Studio is used by the developers to develop automations. This is the tool using which you would be developing your automations. So this is our UiPath Studio. Okay, this is the studio where you will be developing your automations. Now, what is the use of UiPath Assistant? Now, UiPath Assistant is kind of a robot which would do your automation, which will actually run your automations. So have you seen robots in a mechanical industry, right? The robot does paint a car. So it can paint red color, it can paint white color, it can draw design on the car, it can do multiple things based on the programming you do to that robot. Similar way, UiPath Assistant accepts all different kind of automations that is designed on Studio, and when you run it, this UiPath Assistant is executing with the help of UiPath robot. There's a background agent called UiPath robot. So this UiPath Assistant is more like a robot. As a beginner to understand, consider this as a robot handle which would handle all your automations. Okay, so this is UiPath Assistant. Okay, for example, if I run some automations here, this is going to run that automation. So these are different automation programs that I have created. I'm going to show you how do you start. But for your understanding, remember, UiPath Assistant is kind of a robot which would perform your automation tasks. The third important component is UiPath Orchestrator. Now, UiPath Orchestrator, how do you log in? So you have seen we have downloaded UiPath Studio from there. So let's go back to that and simply type cloud.uipath.com. Simply type cloud.uipath.com, hit on enter. It will automatically understand, okay, you have already signed in, and it will take you to that page where you have downloaded Studio. Here in this breadcrumb symbol, click and you find something called Orchestrator. Click on Orchestrator. So this is another third important component which we are going to learn as we proceed. Okay, so three important components as a beginner you must understand: UiPath Studio, the second one is UiPath Assistant, and the third one is UiPath Orchestrator. Okay, now let's get started with UiPath Studio and learn how do you create your very first automation. So let me move on to my UiPath Studio and let's see how do you really start or create your very first automation. Are you interested? Yes, you must be. So let's get started. To create your first automation in the UiPath Studio, the very first step is click on process under the new project. I'm going to click on process. Here you have to give a name. For example, let's give some name. I will say display my name automation. I'm creating display my name automation. Here you can provide some description like this is my first automation project to display my name. And then click on this show advanced. In this is the location where your project would be stored. So if I click on this particular folder, you can see this is the specific location where my projects would get stored. So this is under my C users, Rakesh, documents UiPath, OneDrive documents UiPath. Similar way, you can check what is that default location it's going to take. Generally, it will be under documents. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep that folder as it is. And then here it asks for compatibility. You can build projects for Windows operating system or any other operating system, for example, Mac, or it could be Linux platform, any other platform. We would start with Windows. We'll go with Windows and the language option that you have VB and C Sharp. Now, most of the UiPath projects are built using the VB. So we would go with VB as the default option. Here, once everything is done, hit on create. This would take you to the designer panel of UiPath Studio. You can see it is now building the workspaces, adding the dependencies for the project. It is creating the required XAML files and things like that. So let me close this. Before you automate, let me know a quick tour. So not required. Are you sure you want to close the tutorial? Yes. Now here, let us first increase this font to 150 so that you can easily see the screen. Once you are there in the studio, this is called the designer panel. This is where you drag and drop different automation activities. For example, here our main purpose is to automate which would display my name. For that, go to this activity panel. You see there are multiple different panels which we would talk. But at the moment, let's go to the activities panel. In the activities panel, type message. So you would find an activity called message box or else message box. You can type it the entire line. So you got a message box activity. These are called activities, which you can drag and drop to the designer panel and start your automation. So once my message box is dragged, here let me write something. So I would like to display my name. So I would say within double quotes, I'm saying hello Rakesh. Done. Within double quotes, I'm writing my name. So I have simply dragged and drop a message box activity and written hello Rakesh. Once you are done with this, simply save this. And here you can see there is a run option or a debug option. All you do, simply click on this particular button. Now what would happen by running this? Whatever you have provided as a value here, hello Rakesh, you can see on your screen, it will show you hello Rakesh. Do you see the automation has run and now it is showing the value hello Rakesh. Now let me talk few more things around here. So what we did just now is dragged and dropped an activity and we have created a pretty simple project which is supposed to display my name. In this project, there is something called, there is a project panel. Do you see? If you click on this tab, there is a project tab. In the project tab, what exactly you see it here? We need to understand. Here you would find all the different dependencies. For example, if I have to drag and drop an activity, this activity is supposed to be part of one of these dependencies. Dependency means without this, your automation project cannot be built. You need certain set of packages or the codes that are written inside this, which you need. So for example, if you highlight this message box activity, if you keep your mouse pointer, it tells you it is part of display. This activity is used, for example, if you highlight, displays a message box, the type is message box, the name of this activity is message box. The purpose of it is display a message box with a specified text and buttons included in UiPath.system.activities. So this is the active purpose of the activity. So it is part of UiPath.system.activities. Now if you look at the project panel, here you see that activity, which is UiPath system.activities. Coming from the version of that activity package is 24.2.0. So these are called dependencies at the moment as a beginner for us to understand. So these are the activities required. If you remove this particular activity, then what happened? This will not work. This message box will not work. So that is why these are the dependencies you leave as it is at the moment. The other part, if you see, the moment we created a project, by default, it will create something called main.xaml. So this main.xaml is the entry point of your project. So this is where you start your project. So main.xaml. Now you will be interested. Okay, now I have created something. Where is it getting stored? Let us see that. For this, highlight this one and then right click on it and click on open project folder. Let me click on open project folder. So what would happen? It will show you locally, this is what the file is being created, main.xaml. So this is the file where whatever activities you are dragging and dropping, it is getting stored here. Right now it is only 6 KB. Let's do one thing. I'm going to drag and drop. For example, I'll go to the main.xaml and here let us drag and drop one more activity, message box, one more message box below this. And here let us write something. This is my first project. So I've added one more activity to my automation project and I've written some message. Let us save this and then run it again. Now you can see hello Rakesh has come. Now below that we have written this is my first project, even that has appeared. Now if you go back to the projects panel and if you slightly refresh this, you can see from 6 KB it has increased to 7 KB. That means more activity that you keep adding, the size of this main.xaml will be keep increasing. Getting that? Okay, so this is a pretty simple project. Now let us understand few more things. These activities do contain something called properties. On the right hand side, if you see, this is a property and there's a property tab. Do you see? This is the property tab. So in the property tab, if you see, this says this activity contains certain properties. For example, you remember I was clicking on the OK button, then it was moving to the second activity. What if I don't want to click on OK button? I want it to automatically close. So there's a property here called automatically close after. I'm going to click on these 3 dots and here let us give some seconds. For example, I'll keep it for 3 seconds. Hour, minute and second. So I'm writing 03. That means 3 seconds. Click on OK. So what would happen by this? If I'm going to run this again, you see this activity will automatically close within 3 seconds. You see, I did not click on that. It automatically closed. But this activity will not go. I have to click on OK, then only it will stop. Right? So once again, if I run it, look at it. This message hello Rakesh will disappear automatically and then the second one came and this would stay until I click on OK. Why the second one is staying? Because I did not apply any property to this activity. So with this you have got a basic fair idea of how this is functioning. Now you would be interested, let us build some real project, some real one and understand, right? So let's do that. Let me save this project and let us create a new project now. Now for our new project, let us understand what is this project is about. This is going to be very interesting. We are going to automate on a site, on a website called rpachallenge.com. This website is pretty specific around what it needs. If you see, there is a form where we have to build an automation which is supposed to come and enter specific details. For example, you see it is asking for the first name. So our automation should come and type the first name. It should come here and type the last name. It should come here and type some phone number, right? So all of this we will try to automate. Email address, company name, role in company and address. So how can I do this using UiPath Studio? How can I build a simple automation? Let's first see that. So let's go back to Studio. And remember this website, the first name is here, last name is here. If you refresh this, what happens is the first name came here and the last name is on the top. If you refresh again, so the position of this boxes are changing. Do you see? So this is a dynamic web page. So let's understand how can I automate. Let's go back to our Studio. In the Studio, the very first thing, because this is a new automation, I'll go to the home page and create a new project. So for that, as we have learned, we have to click on process. Here, let us give some name, some meaningful name. So I'm giving RPA challenge automation 1. Okay, why I'm saying 1? There are multiple variations that we can do on this. That's why I'm just giving it a 1. so that I can build one more automation where I would name it as 2 and show you few other important areas. At the moment, let's leave it as it is. And in the description, you can mention something like that. So I'm putting RP challenge automation 1 for basic data entry. And then the location would be the same, Windows VV, and click on create. The moment you do this, what happens while the project is getting created, you would also see, um, skip the steps, skip the steps, skip the steps, dismiss. Now, if you see this project that we have just created, RPA challenge automation 1 will get listed here in your UiPath Studio. Now let us increase the font to 150. This is not mandatory for you, just for demonstration purpose. I want to keep the screen slightly on a bigger window. The very first thing we have to automate. So how do I automate? Now let me tell you, in UiPath Studio, you have a pretty easy option which I'm going to show you. Go to the design panel. Okay, remember you are in the design panel, and there is something called App Web Recorder. What is the option? App Web Recorder. Let me click on this particular button. Now it is asking you indicate an element to auto detect actions. So what you're supposed to do? First, it has understood that you have opened a web application. All you do, click on an element. So here I'll keep the recorder this side, and the very first thing I want to click is here, the first name. So let me click here. So the moment I do this, you need to install or enable UiPath extension for Chrome. So how you do it? So you simply hit on continue anyway. So it will automatically enable the extension. Before that, if you see in your Chrome, let me cancel this. I'll come to this once again. Don't save. Let's go back to the Chrome. Before you start any web automation, ensure that the new extension added, the extension is installed. So you would have something called UiPath Browser Automation 23.10 added. This happens during your installation of UiPath Studio itself. So simply you have to enable the extension. So now you have the right extension installed, the UiPath browser extension, after which you can only automate. If you don't have an extension, then you won't be able to automate a web browser. Remember this important point. Now, for any reason, if your Chrome doesn't have that extension, you can also install it from here. Go to the home and then go to tools and go to UiPath extensions. So here if you see the Chrome one is already installed. So you see the install button is gone and now it is saying uninstall. That means I have already installed it. In case it is saying install something like this, then go ahead and install it. Very important point for a web browser automation. Now what should I do first? So you have kept the browser open in the background. You can see, let me close everything else. So you can see the browser is kept open. The site is open in the background. Go back to the studio. In the studio, I'm going to click on App Web Recorder. This is the very first step. And then I'm going to select this particular page. Okay, this application, I'm going to entirely select it. So simply click somewhere outside first. Now what happened? It has detected it has detected there is a website and there is something you wanted to do it. So once it becomes gray, then it is asking you type a value. Let me cancel it once again. Let me show you. Let's refresh the page. Okay, let's start once again. Go back to the studio, App Web Recorder, and this is your application. So the very first thing, indicate an element to auto detect the action. So you should indicate the element. So let us first indicate the first name. This is your very first action. Okay, so after you have indicated, you see something, it has become red, it didn't detect properly. So if that happens to you, simply delete this button and try once again. Click on the element, let the green icon come, and then if it looks okay and there's a green symbol, there's no red icon, then hit on this tick mark. So what happened? Now this got selected and it is asking you type a value or use another source of the data. So type some value. So here I would like to type Rakesh. Okay, empty the field, it will empty. If there is something written already, it will empty that and start typing. That is the meaning. Hit on confirm. So now what happened? It has typed Rakesh. What is the next thing you would like to do? You would like to enter the last name. So click on the last name button. Simply keep your mouse cursor and the green icon would appear. Simply click on that inside that. So if you do so, this box would appear and here you type the next value. So what is the next value? I'll write my last name and hit on confirm. And same thing we have to repeat for all these fields. So let's say phone number, look at it, phone number, and enter some value here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Hit on confirm. Done. Now it is asking what is the next thing you want to do. I want to enter the email address. Okay, select that and enter some email address here, test@abc123.com. confirm. What is the next thing I would like to enter? Let's say company name. Select that. So pretty simple. You simply select it and write the value you would like to enter. So here I would like to enter, let's say ABC123 company name. Hit on confirm. Role in company. Simply say something like RPA developer. Confirm, and then address. Click on that and enter some address, right? Test address 1 2 3 4 5 6 and hit on confirm. So what happened? Now you simply trying to show what you would like to type, click on that and then type a value and you are done. And once everything is done, what you would like to do, you would like to hit on the submit button. So whatever the actions that you would like to perform, you simply have to indicate it. So your automation is all done. So if you see what is happening here, it is writing 1111 activity. So let's hit on save here. So all that you saw there, now it is being brought back to Studio. If you see it here, the very first activity is a use browser Chrome RPA challenge. It has automatically detected the website rpachallenge.com. Interesting? Pretty interesting. I mean, it is quite easy on UiPath Studio to automate something. Now the next thing what happened within this particular container, there is the next activity called type into activity. Here it is typing whatever value I have provided. Let's say Rakesh I have provided. So it is typing, it is going to type in the first name field. Then it is going to type the last name. You can see type into last name field. This is the field name. Then if you come here, then it says type into phone number field. So it is typing some value there. Similar way, email, right? Similar way, company name and role in company. So all the fields and the address. And finally, it should hit on submit. So you can see how quickly you have created a automation in matter of few minutes. Let us save this. Let us save this and we will try to run this particular automation. Before running, what I would do, I would simply close this one and start running it. Now look at this designer panel. You have an option. If you click on this small arrow, you have some options here: run file, debug and run. So what are all this? So for example, you want to run the entire project. A project could have multiple XAML files. I have shown you this. So here we have only one XAML file. There are possibilities. You can create multiple such XAML files. I am going to show you while we continue. So right now there's only one XAML file. So it doesn't matter if you wanted to run a specific file or you want to run the project, because anyways you have only one file. So here what we will do, we'll simply hit on use this last option, run. Okay, it will run the entire project. So simply hit on run. Now wait for a few seconds. It will compile all the activities and you will see it will automatically open the rpachallenge.com and it is typing all the values that we have provided. Do you see how nicely it has done the job and the automation is complete? Let's do it once again. Let me click on this drop down, hit on run, or else you can also use Control F5 as a shortcut. So hit on run. See, again it has opened the website and entering the details. See how nicely it is entering the details and hitting on submit. Getting it? So this is a pretty simple automation that we have built. So now what comes to our mind? Rakesh, What if I wanted to enter multiple values onto that website? Data entry. You have only provided Rakesh and your name. It is only one kind of automation. Every time you run, it is always going to enter the same value. How can I make it dynamic? How can I enter multiple different addresses? Right now it has entered Rakesh. What if next time I want to enter some other name? How is that possible? Can I make this automation dynamic? Yes. So let's see that how you can achieve it. To do this, we need some data. For that, go back to rpachallenge.com and I'm going to click on download Excel. By doing so, you will get an Excel file. Let me open this, where you would have some pre-filled data. So you can see I have some pre-filled data here. So what are those data? Let's have a quick look. So you have your first name. There are certain last names, company name, role in company, address, email, and phone number. Let's save this. Now let's go back to your studio. Now here I have to add certain extra logic. So what you do when your workflow becomes larger and larger, that time you have an option to minimize it. So simply collapse. So you can see all the activities has been collapsed. I'll go to the activities panel and let me drag and drop an activity to read the Excel. So there's an activity called simply type Excel. Okay. You'll see there are multiple activities. Now to use Excel, what we will do, first thing is drag and drop this Excel process scope activity. Okay. And inside this Excel process scope, there is another activity called use Excel file. Let me drag and drop this use Excel file. Now in the use Excel file activity, let us point where our Excel file is. Let's click on this button and I have downloaded. So it should be there in the downloads. I'm going to select that folder or select that file, click on open. So now the file has been pointed out. So what is the next thing? Before you go to the next thing, I will pass some hint here. What is the hint? Look at, now this entire designer panel looks slightly clumsy. So there is a great feature. If I have to add an activity here, there's a plus sign. I can use it instead of the activity panel. So here I'm using the activity panel. Let's say I don't want the activity panel. All you do simply click on this. So now the activities panel has been minimized. So you get more white space here to build your code. And if you need some activity, simply use a plus sign. So what is our next thing we have to do? We have to loop through the data. We know this Excel file has been pointed out and it knows where that Excel file is. Now I have to loop through the data that is there in Excel. So if you see, this has got first name, last name, company name. So it should first read that entire row and then enter into rpachallenge.com. Then it should read the next row and enter all this data into the website. So it's a more like a data entry automation we are building. So for this, in UiPath, it is quite easy to loop through rows of data in Excel. So how you do it? So for that, there is an activity. Hit on the plus sign and write for each Excel row. In UiPath, it becomes quite easy to even find this activity with that word for each Excel row I want, right? If you write few keywords, it gives you an activity, just click on that. So if you click on it, the activity has been put inside the use Excel file. So until now you use the Excel process scope, inside that use Excel file, and inside that a for each Excel row activity. These are called activities. Okay, now I wanted to point out in an Excel file there could be multiple sheets possible. In our Excel file we only have one sheet, but practically you may have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 or multiple different sheet names. So for that, in this activity for each Excel row, the very first thing you have to do is click on the plus sign, click on the Excel, and it shows the list of sheet names present in that file. It will automatically pull it for you. See how easy they have made. All you do, simply select the sheet that is shown here, the required sheet. So in our case, this is the sheet 1, so I've selected the name. And then very important property, that is has headers. Headers means what? The very first row, the column names, first name, last name, company name, these are the column names. These are not data, these are the columns. So this is called header in an Excel file. So ensure this option is selected, has headers. Okay. Now the activity does what? If you wanted to understand what this activity does, simply keep your mouse pointer on the activity. You get a small gray message box which tells you what it does. So if you could read this, it says repeats the contained activities once for each row in the specified sheet. So it will loop through all these rows that is there in the sheet 1. That is the meaning until the end. First it picked this row, then this row, then this row, like that it will continue. So let's see. What if I want to see all the names that are present in the under the first name column? I wanted to see it. How can I do it? For that, let us click on this plus sign and use a message box. Click on it. So the message box is added here. Now in this one, let's write a small expression. So to write expression, you can click on this. Pretty simple expression. They are not so clumsy or difficult. Here, because we are in the for each loop, it uses something called current row. This activity has some variable called current row, inbuilt variable. So you'll use this button and use that variable current row. Okay, current row is the variable. And then you say, okay, in the current row, which column would you like to read? There are multiple columns in a given row. So if you see this row contains how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. So out of this, which column would you like to read? So I have to mention it. Current row. In the current row, you read the column which says first name. Simply mention it and then convert that to toString. Should be a string value, right? toString. Convert it to toString and hit on save. Pretty simple. Current row, name of the column, dot toString, and save it. Okay. Now, while I have taught you the very first automation which we did, let the message box automatically close after 3 seconds or 2 seconds. So here I will change it to 2 seconds. Getting it? And I'm going to click on OK. All right, so the automation is done. Now let me see if I run this, this message box should show all the names, John, Jane, Albert, and all that. So before you run, you remember this use browser, Chrome, this one we have done, type into the first one. So this activity, these activities, you minimize it and disable it for the timing because I don't want this to run now. So disable it. You can comment out. Okay, so that won't run. Now let us run it. Let us quickly debug this. Okay, now if you could see what happened, one by one, the names are coming, right? Michael has come, then Dog and Jesse, Michelle, Stan, like that one by one it is pulling, then Michelle came, then Stacy will come, then last is Lara coming. So your automation is running. Now you might face some problems. For example, if you click on any cell, for example, I'm clicking on first name and keep in edit mode. So you can see I'm trying to edit or do something with the Excel file. Now in this state, if I'm going to run the automation, it throws an error. Use Excel file. Excel appears to be busy. That means you are using the Excel file. I can't run the automation. UiPath is saying. So ensure you escape out of it, save it. You don't keep it in edit mode and run it. Do you see the automation has run and it is pulling the first name values from the Excel. Michelle and all that, Stacy. Sorry, this one Michelle Dog. Yeah, so you can see it is. So in between, if you would like to stop, go back and simply stop it here. Just for testing purpose, we have done this. So this much is understood how the for each Excel row is working and how you can pull each value from a specific column. So once this is known, let's delete the message box because that is for a testing purpose. All I have to do, enable it. Now you have commented out. How do you enable it? Again, right click on the box, enable activity. So now the activities are enabled. All you do, drag and drop all of this activity inside this for each loop. Okay, leave it. So now this all this activities is going to run within this for each Excel row. And we understood how to pull a specific value from the Excel file from the message box, right? From the message box, we have seen how you can pull each of these values. John, for example, if I want to pull the last name, I have to say last name, current row, last name dot toString. Pull the company name, then I have to say current row, company name dot toString. Pretty simple. So let's go back. So here, last time I was giving some fixed values. I wanted to make it dynamic. So for that, all you do simply replace this value with an expression. So click on this and write the expression. So I will write current row and I will write the column name, first name dot toString. Getting it? Simply you have to replace this with the exact column name and hit on save. So now you copy this particular expression, save it, and copy paste into all of this activity. Now type into last name, click on this and remove that fixed value and write it and simply change it to last name. Easy. Save it. What is our next activity? Phone number. Go here and simply type phone number. So ensure the spelling is exactly as per the Excel file. So ensure you are double checking that by keeping the Excel file open. So phone number, phone space number, and I have written phone space number. It should be exactly the same. Okay, let's replace the email from a fixed value. Now we are making it dynamic and all I have to say email. That was email, right? Yeah, email. Next is company name. So go here, copy paste the syntax and here say company name. Do not make spelling mistakes. Now next is role in company. Go here, paste it and say role in company. Role in. So if any spelling mistake, it will throw error. You have to rectify that. Company. Okay. Is it written the same way in the Excel? Role in company. Yes. Done. Next is what? Address. Copy paste that and replace it with right column name, which is address. Save it. Okay, done. And then submit button. So all this we have written. Now I don't have any fixed values. Rather, I have written a code which is going to pull each of these values row by row while the loop is running. Right inside the loop, I have put all these activities. So one by one, it is going to pick and enter the values here. Now let me save this. Now, are you excited? Shall we run and see whether our automation is really working or there are any problems? No worries. Let's simply run it. If there are any problems, we know how to fix it. So let's get started and run it. All right. Now it has opened the rpchallenge.com. Wow, it failed. You can see while entering last name, column not found. It failed. Now let us understand why this happens. And this is quite usual when you do automation where your automation would fail at certain points. So how do you fix it is the key. So where it failed, you have to first know. So it was able to type the first name. We saw it in the rpchallenge.com. It has typed John. But while typing the last name, it thrown some error. You can click on the output panel to see the error. So what is the error? Type into last name column not found. There's no column called last name. Now, is there any spelling mistake or there is something else we need to identify? So here it is highlighted in orange in color. So last name, let's go back to the Excel file. So I was very particular. You have to be very, very careful while typing the column names. So here you can see last name is written. But this last name, if you highlight this last name, right? Last name, did you write the same way? Last name, no spelling mistake. Right, in your expression, no spelling mistake. But if you carefully look at the Excel, I know if I can zoom it, if you highlight, so when I'm highlighting, if you see, can I zoom this? I'm not able to, but there is a small space after name. See, NAME, and there is a space. So here, if I'm highlighting, you can see it is highlighting there is a space after name. It is not exactly ending here. So because of this space, this problem is happening. Because of the space, the problem is happening. So all you do, this kind of a, this is how you have to identify small things which could lead to failure of automation. So here you can see when I'm highlighting this small space. So all I will do, I'll go back to my this one, and in the code after E, I'm going to add a space and save it, and let's test it and see whether it is working or not. So right now again save it and let's run it. Okay. Now this error came, use Excel file. Excel appears to be busy because I was doing some edit and I forgot. Escape, save it. You don't keep it in edit mode. Let's run it again. So these are all human mistakes. As you go through, you will understand. All right, so the execution has started. Let me go to, yeah, in the background it is actually running. You can see now it is entering all the things pretty nicely. Now it is entering the second row, Jane. Do you see? Now it is entering the third row. Like that it will continue. So it doesn't matter. The form is dynamically changing, but our automation is not failing. My automation is still able to type the data in the dynamic environment while the fields are keep on changing its place. Okay, great. Now it has started entering Jesse. Now let me know how many of you were able to complete this automation. Are you able to do this? Please do comment and let me know in the comment section of this video. I'll be very interested. For anybody who is a beginner, you're learning, this would be quite interesting. You can see the bot is doing all your job. It is doing the data entry. You can see it. Okay, so it is entering all the data very quickly. So now our entire automation is completed and RPA challenge automation execution ended at 1.14. That is, it took almost one execution started and it ended at 1 minute 14 seconds it took. How much time? It gives you a time here, 1 minute 14 seconds it took. Great. So now you have learned a second very important learning to create a data entry automation. So good job. All of you who have completed this, please do comment. Do not forget to comment. I would like to see how many of you have completed this data entry automation. Now let's move next, the next topic that we should learn. So our next automation is table extraction automation from a different website. This website is known as acmetest.uipath.com. So for that, before we start getting into the website, first create a new project. All I will do, go to the back screen, go to the home, and here let's create a new process. Give some name. So here table extraction from Acme. This is the project name. Provide some description. Extract table data and write to Excel. This is our automation. And rest of the things remains as it is. All I have to do, hit on create. Now a new automation is getting created. It is creating a main.xaml, all those things. As we have seen earlier, the same things are happening. Let me slightly increase the designer panel so that it is visible. Okay, now let's go to the site, Acme site. Now, if you are accessing this one for the very first time, all you do, you have to register it. Now, how do you open this Acme site? First of all, so simply type Acme -test. Simply search for Acme -test. You would see acme test.uipath.com. Okay, it should be there. This is the site you should open. Okay, it's the same site. Now the very first thing we will do, we would click on the register. It would ask pretty simple options. Enter your email address, set a password for the site. I agree and go through the terms and conditions. I'm not a robot, and register it. So once you have done a registration, it is quite easy. So let me hit on login. and then enter your email address and then the password and hit on login. So once you log in, I have to extract some table data. Now, how do I extract the table data? There's a second tab here called work items. If you click on this, do you see there is an entire table present here? So I want to extract this data, and this data, if I go to the second page, it has some other data. You can see it refreshed. If I go to the third page, it has got some other data. So there are multiple pages from where you have to extract this entire data and write to an Excel. So this is an interesting automation. Let's see how this can be built. So for that, let's go back to Studio. And the very first thing, this is the tab, right? Let's go back to the home page. So our automation should click on work items, and then it should come to this page. First, there's a click activity, and then it will load this page. And from here, I have to extract the data, which is there in multiple pages. Okay, this is the how as a human being you would navigate. I'm showing that. Now, as a robot, how you would achieve it? That is the point. So the very first activity we know it is a click activity. So I'll use a click activity. And here I'm going to hit on indicate and see there is an error. What is the error? The current activity must be added inside a use application browser. So here you are learning few things, few important things. When I'm doing a web browser automation, ensure the very first activity is use web browser. Use web application browser. This is the activity. Here there's an indicate option. I'm going to hit on indicate. I'm going to indicate this entire one. You can see it has become slightly green in color. I'm going to click outside. So it understands which is that application. It automatically picks the URL of the website. Great. Now the next thing what I want to do in this website, it should come and click on work items. For that, I'm going to use an activity called click activity. Click on this and then indicate. It says indicate. So hit on indicate and indicate this particular button. Okay, so you can see a selector is getting automatically created. It's saying this is the button informations are automatically getting captured. All you have to do simply validate. So the validation is successful and I'm going to hit on confirm. So these are so many information. I have multiple videos. So this is a beginner's course. So right now this would be more complicated if somebody teaches you. So right now let's go with the flow. Once you get acquainted, then these are the next chapters. These are called selectors. So there is a playlist I've created for selectors you can watch. Now let's hit on confirm. So what happened? The button is now been selected. So now if you simply run it, for example, if I'm going to simply run this or debug this, you will see it will open that application. So it all happened in the background, but let me go back. Okay, just to see that, run it. Okay, I'm going to run this. So see, it clicked on that work items. It happened so quickly. Did you see? It happened very quickly and it has opened it. Now sometimes you would be interested, okay, let it not happen very quickly. I want to see the mouse moving and clicking on it. So there is an option here, cursor motion type. There's a property. So here I'm going to keep it smooth. Smooth means it will slowly move and you can see that. So let's save this and run it again. Now look at it. The mouse pointer is here. You would see the mouse pointer will slowly move and click on it. So it has still happened very quickly. Mouse button, left click, that's fine. The motion type supposed to be smooth. Save. Let me run it again. It has opened Acme site and clicked on. Anyways, that movement is not being, it is happening very fast, but you understood how it is going and clicking on this particular button. Okay, so this much is understood. Now the next part is extracting this table data. How would you extract? Now for this, there is a simple button available here called table extraction. What is it? Table extraction. All you do, simply hit on this table extraction. Okay. Now this is a widget which would help you to extract the data even though it is there in multiple pages. So it is pretty simple. Look at it. Use the select data to extract button to indicate the table for list elements you want to be extracted. How do you use this particular table extraction? Let us see. The very first thing, keep that window in the background from where you would like to extract the data. Then click on select data to extract. Click on this button. So once you do it, select on any of the value. For example, any, it doesn't matter which value, select any value. So let's say I'm going to select this value. Then it will automatically understand, would you like to extract all the columns from the table? It will tell you. So it understands there's a table and it sees there are multiple different columns. Would you like to extract all the columns? Simply say yes to it. So what happened now? It automatically identifies all the columns. So what are the columns you see? Action, WIID, description, type, and all of these options have come. WIID, description, type, status, and the last one is date, right? So all these columns are auto populated. Let's say I don't want something. Let's say I don't want action. So select this and delete it. I want only this. I don't want this status. So select and delete it. So you have the delete option. Pretty simple. After that, there's another important option here, which tells you extract data from multiple pages. Simply say yes. Enable it. Now, where is the next button? You need to indicate it. So here, the next buttons, where is the next button? This is the next button, right? It will go to the next page. So indicate this particular button. So it understood, okay, you got him the next button. Understood? So how did I do it? Again, hit on yes, and then it is asking you to indicate the next button. So every page would have that kind of a button. So select the next button or this kind of button you can select. So this is the button I have selected. Now hit on save. So I want to see the data, right? Hit on preview. So you can see it has extracted action URL, WIID, description, all this data it is extracting. Now let's close this and I'm going to hit on save and close. So what happened? There's a new activity got added below this click activity. And what is the activity name? Extract table data. And there's a variable also automatically getting created called extract data table. Now, after it extracts, I wanted to write this to an Excel, right? I would like to write this extract data table, which is a data table variable. Remember, data table means it is a table of data. Like in Excel, you have rows and columns. Data table means that. String means it's a text, right? Similar way, data table is a variable type. So here, I want to write this to an Excel file. So for this, first, when it comes to Excel, I have told you in the previous video, what is the activity I have to use? Excel process scope, the very first activity, right? So let's click on Excel process scope. And inside this, what is the next activity I have told you? Use Excel file, the next activity. And I'm going to indicate the file where I would like to write. So select here. And I had that previous file here, challenge.xls. Let me use the same file. Hit on open. And then you have selected the file, but where to write, you have not defined it here. So to write some data, there is an activity. Simply say write Excel. Okay. Simply say write Excel. So you would find this activity write data table to Excel, that variable type. So click on this activity. Now what it is asking, what to write. So in this one, what was our variable name? Extract data table is the variable name. So the same variable, let me enter it here. Simply type, it will come extract data table. So once I have this activity, next it asks me, where would you like to write this? What is your destination? So click on this plus sign, Excel, and here it says there is only sheet 1 in that file. So would you like to write in the sheet 1? No, I want to write in a different sheet. For that, what to be done? For that, let me go back to the Excel file. Open this. And let me click on the plus sign and create another sheet, a blank sheet, and save this and close this Excel file. Now let me go back to the studio and now again hit on this plus sign destination Excel, and it shows me sheet 2. Click on sheet 2. I've selected the sheet 2. So done. So my automation is now created. So simply save this, go here and run this automation. Before you run, ensure you just close all of this, all the tabs and all that. So you close it and let me see how it works. So save this and run it. Okay. Acme test UiPath.com. It clicked on work items. Now you will see the automation that we have created in the, see, it is moving to one page. It is now in the third page. Now it is in the fourth page. Now it is in the fifth page. So how quickly the robot is extracting the data. Your automation is so quick, it is extracting all the data. See, it went to the ninth page, 10th page. Just imagine if you have 100 of such pages. Now robot is one of the easiest option when you create an automation. All right, so I believe, okay, it has extracted the 11th page as well. Let's go back to the studio, see what happened. So now the automation is complete. If you go to the output panel, you see extract data from so and so is complete. Okay, execution started, and this is okay. Now it is, I think it is writing to the Excel file. Okay, so now it has completed. Now let me go to the output. Here now it is saying table extraction for Acme execution ended. It took 1 minute 01 seconds to complete the entire process. Now if you give it to an human being, it might take more than 1 minute, I believe. So now let's see this Excel file. Let's go back and open this Excel file. And if I go to the sheet 2, okay, you can see all the data has been extracted from the web page. So this is another interesting automation that you have learned, extracting table data from a web page. So what is next? Have you completed this? If you have done it, please do comment that I have completed the table extraction automation too. So I know you are really going one step and learning everything in detail. Great. Now let's see what is the next topic we should learn. How about a notepad automation? Are you interested? Let's see that. Click on home. Let's create a new process and write notepad automation. And here the description, writing something onto the notepad application. Everything else would remain as it is. Let us hit on create. All right, let the project build. Done. I'll slightly increase the screen. All right. Now for this, first of all, let us have a notepad open. I think I've closed it. Let me open a notepad. All right. So this is my notepad, which is currently blank. Now what we will do, the very first thing, we'll drop an activity. So what is the activity for application? Use application browser, right? Use application and browser. This is the very first activity when you have to interact with an web application or a desktop application, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to hit on indicate application. And it is going to see the green signal has come. So ensure the notepad has been kept in the background, and then you are doing this. And click somewhere in the application. So now it understands, okay, this is a notepad, and here I want to write to this particular file, automate with rakesh.txt. This is the file name. So I would like to write into this file. Now what would I like to write? So write means what? You will do a type, right? So just simply type type. There is an activity called type into. This we have seen it. Indicate, and then indicate where would you like to write. So I'm going to write it in this space. Validate and see the validation is successful. After that, I'm going to hit on confirm. Done. Okay. Now here type this. What would you like to type? For example, I'm going to say, hi Rakesh, this is your robot. This is the message I would like to type. Now let's save this and simply run this automation. Let's see. Now it has opened the notepad and you can see it has typed, "Hi Rakesh," and the automation is closed. "Hi Rakesh, this is your robot." All right, so this is a pretty simple automation. Let's do something different. I'm going to ask the user to enter any two numbers. Let's say I'm entering 5 and then I'm entering 10. And then it will show another option wherein you can do a addition, you can do a subtraction, you can do a multiplication, you could do a division, things like that. For example, if I'm selecting addition, then it should show me the value 5 plus 10 is equals to 15. So how would you design this automation? So more like a calculator automation. Let's create one more project, process, and then I'm going to create a calculator automation. And I'm going to hit on, you can provide some description, basic calculator with sum, subtract, right? Addition, subtract, multiplication, and division. This is what I would like to create. So hit on create. So I've created one more new project. Now let's see how will you write the logic. So what is the first thing? First thing, you should ask the user some input. For that, click on this plus sign and use this activity called input dialog. There's activity called input dialog. So it will ask the user what is needed. So here the dialog title, and title means the top one. So here I'm saying input and calculator input 1. And here I would put a label wherein I'm saying enter your first number, right? So it is going to show a box, a text box it is going to show. Now whatever the user is typing, that should get stored in a variable. So create a variable and give it a name called num1. Let's save it. Let's see how this one is working first of all. If I run this, so you can see the box has appeared and this saying enter your first number. So whatever you enter here doesn't matter. If you click on OK, that value will get stored in this variable called num1. Okay, so here we will change this variable type to integer. What we are doing, the variable type to integer. So let's save it and run it again. So what is the when you specify a specific data type, it helps you so that if somebody else, if they enter some text or something like that, it will reject it. So if I enter 12, it is accepting it. Now let me write some text here. Okay, so it is giving some error. Input dialog box is not a valid. So it is giving some. So here I have restricted by changing the variable type of that to integer kind. Okay, now the same thing, let's repeat. Now it is simple, just copy this and Control V. And here I have to simply change small values here. I'll make it to 2. Enter your second number and here delete this, create variable, and I'm saying num2. So num1 and num2. The two variables got created. After that, I would like to show one more input dialog box. And here it should show certain options: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. These are the 4 options I would like to show. For that, I will say choose within double quote. Okay, remember, choose your option. Choose your option. And here input label, I will say, what would you like to do? In double quote. What would you like to do? And here I'll give a multiple choice option. And in the multiple choice, how do you write? So what are the options I would like to show? First is the addition. So how do you write? Put a double quote and then use a plus sign. Okay, so let me slightly increase the font. So this is the addition. After that, separate it by a semicolon and then I want to show minus symbol separate by semicolon. Then I would like to show a multiplication symbol separate by semicolon. Then I would like to show a division symbol. Done. So these are the 4 different options I would like to show to the user. So written in this way, I'm going to hit on save. Done. Now whatever the value it is the user is selecting, that should get stored in a variable, I will say choice. Hit on enter. And this plus minus a multiplication or this, right? So this I would take them as a string. So if you see, choice is a string. So once this is done, click on this plus sign, and there's an activity called switch activity. See, you are learning multiple different activities. So switch. So here you have to simply provide the variable choice variable, and here click on this add new case. So what is the very first symbol? Plus. So use a plus. And okay, so before you do this, so this activity started giving error. Escape, and here you have to change the type argument to string. See, this is getting into a kind of a loop. So Control G, Control G, Control S, and here click on string. So I've selected string. Now click on this will slightly might trouble you. Ensure first you select string, then come to add new case and use a plus sign. Don't use any double quotes, nothing. Simply use a plus sign. Now if the user has selected plus sign, that means use a assign active. So here drop an activity here, go to activities panel, and here I will use a assign activity. And this side I'm going to say create a variable called output. Hit on enter. So this output variable should be what type? It's supposed to be an integer type. So let us select integer. And then if somebody has selected plus sign, then it should do num1 variable num1 plus variable num2. Getting it? So let's just copy this formula, save it. Okay, num1 plus num2, the addition is supposed to happen. So option strict disallow implicit conversion from string to double. So here what happened when you are doing this, whatever the numbers are, right, when you are adding them, that should, so let's check the variable type. So yeah, this is a string I have kept, right? I have to make it to integer. Num2 also is integer, correct? So the error is gone. All right, now what is the second use case? Minus. So let's put a minus symbol here, and then all we will do, let's copy paste this activity. Copy this activity, Control C, come here, paste this activity. Now only thing you have to do is simply change this plus symbol to minus symbol. Done. Save it. Now what is the second case? Somebody might select the multiplication symbol. Now if there's a multiplication symbol, what is supposed to do? Again the same activities, all you have to do is use a multiply symbol here. Save it. And then our new case, what is the last one? Division symbol. Now if somebody does that, paste it here. So it went here. Delete. Go to this, click on this and highlight, keep your mouse inside and paste it. So if somebody divides, then it should come something like this, and save it. So now your automation is built. There is some error. Let's see what is the error. Cannot assign from system.double to system.in32 in assign activity. So when I'm dividing num1 divided by num2, fine. Cannot assign from system.double to system.in32 in assign activity. So here the output, what we can do is, instead of integer, because sometimes it will come in points, right, when you divide 2.1, whatever it could come. So go to browse for types. So it is in another data type. So system.double, simply say system.double. Okay, so now you select the right data type. So let's see if the error is gone. Yes, the error is gone. Okay, so nowhere there is an error. So make the data type to double. Okay, so now let's see how it is working. If there is any problem, anyways, we'll correct it. Let's run it. So it is saying enter your first number. Let's say I'm entering 10. Okay, and enter your second number. Let's say I'm entering 5. Okay, and what would you like to do? Let me select divide. Click on OK. So now, so there's no error came, but again we forgot to print the output. Let me click on the plus sign and use a message box. Now this message box supposed to print the output here. So save it and again run it. Okay, first number, let me enter again 10. Second number, let me enter, let's say 5. Okay, and then I would like to select, let's say division. Okay, so now it is showing the value 2. Let's do one thing. Let us use the plus sign. Let me add 100 plus 200, and then I'm going to select the plus sign, hit on OK. You can see it is showing the right value. Now let's try something else. Run it again. Let's say 2, and I will enter 4, and here let me select the multiplication. Okay, so output is 8. So you can see all the options are working. So if you have done this, please do let me know in the comment section that you are able to create a basic calculator. Now the next thing I would like to show you, what if I would like to move a file from one location to the other location. So for example, in my computer, let's go to downloads. So there are two files, challenge xlx vendor list.xlx. Let's say I would like to copy this file or move this file from downloads to documents. So here I would like to store. So how this can be achieved within the studio environment, do you know? So let me show you. Now I'm not going to create one more project every time. We have created so many projects now. What I will do, within the same project, let me create a new sequence. So new sequence, and I will say move file and hit on create. So what would happen when you create a new sequence? So first we had main.xaml. Now we have created another XAML called move file XAML. So this is again another XAML file got created. So XAML files are the working workflows which contains the workflow for your automation, right? It contains the workflows. That means the activities and all that inside this. So move file.xaml is a new one I have created. Now in this one, there is an activity. Okay, there is a direct activity called move file. Click on this plus sign and type move file. Okay, move file, move folder, move email. There are multiple activities. So you select the system one, system file. Okay, click on this. The very first thing it asks, from where to where. So from, click on this, and I'm going to select the downloads folder and select that file, click on open. So I'm saying from this location, then the destination. So where is the destination? I would like to move to my documents, select folder. Pretty simple activity. So as a beginner, let's learn basics, small basics, and then we will see. So now let's look at the error. Absolute paths not recommended. Use a relative path instead, that is not including a drive letter or a root folder. Absolute paths not recommended. Use a absolute path means I'm given the entire path, but again you can still run this. Okay, so if I'm going to run it, we can use a variable and things like that. The process cannot access the file because it is being used by another process. So that means I must have kept that Excel file open. Let me close this and let me close the Excel file. So if somebody is using, then yes, the robot cannot access it, right? Somebody is already using it. So now let's run this. Okay, so if I go to the output panel, the execution, sorry, the move file. So when you do this, because you have multiple XAMLs, right? So what you do, run file, you do run file, so only this file would run. Could not find C uses Rakesh download challenge.xlx. Okay, the file has already been moved in the previous run. Let's see that. Yeah, that was already moved. So if I go to documents, you can see what is that, challenge.xlx. Okay, the file has been moved. Let's do one more time. Let's say from there I would like to put it back to some other location. So let me select the file, or let's try one more file. In the download there is another file called vendor list, open, and then I would like to move this to documents, select folder, okay, and run file. So when you do this run, it will run the entire project. So it will start from the calculator, then it will understanding. So it will start always from the main.xaml. So as I have got two different files and I want to run only this file, so that time you have to select run file, not the run project. This is the run project, okay? It will run the entire project. So let me run it again. Okay, the project is execution is completed. Now if you come here and refresh this, okay, so here you could see the vendor.list.file has come. Now there are so many questions that will come into your mind. What if there are multiple files? How do I do it? Right? All these things would come, and that is obvious. But right now, I have got all this, all that questions that you are getting in your mind, all these questions can be clarified. So what you do next? So you have learned so many things now. Now what is next? How would you continue your learning from my channel? Let me show you. You go to my channel on YouTube and type automate with Rakesh. You can see it has come. And let me go to my channel. So there are multiple sections on my channel. One is home, video, shorts, playlist. This is the YouTube sections. Now in the home section, you have a tutorial, start here. What is RPA, installation, couple of things we have already done it. But again, if you go through this, you would see so many different examples here. Okay, flow chart, a couple of sequence, what is a sequence, what is a flow chart, how to use a if activity, how to input dialog box you have seen. So you should first watch this entire series. Okay, after that, what you should do, then I have something called UiPath Excel automation. Start with the Excel automations. Getting it? Then what next? So for that, once you are done with the Excel automation in this one, you would have got a good understanding of UiPath. Now simply come to this section, playlist section. Okay, videos means I upload regular videos, so all the videos you would find, it's more than 1,000 videos. So it will be difficult to find a specific video. So you can search and find, but again, it's good to go to the playlist. Go to the playlist, scroll to the bottom. Okay, scroll to the bottom. So here these videos were created with the older version, but again, very nice examples I have taken for a beginner to understand. You can start with this. The UI was slightly different. It was 3 years back. UiPath Studio was slightly different. So, but again, the examples would help you. So go with this video. Okay, after you have completed those things from the home page, come to the playlist, start here. Then go to this playlist, build data table. Again, I'm saying the activities, few things would be slightly different, but it'll give you a lot of concepts. What is a data table, how it works, and all these things, examples. Then you have got move file activity. How do you move multiple files? All these videos are kept. So there are 21 videos. Okay. So this will help you. You have a tutorial email, how to do email automation. So that is, we have 14 videos. Go through this. Then PDF automation, then RE framework, right? Excel automation you have already covered. Then regular expression, like that you should continue. Okay. Storage buckets, VB.NET. Okay. You want to have some knowledge on .NET. These 17 videos are there which will help you. Then some use cases I have. Okay. Some 37 use cases you can see. So this will also help you. Then selectors, I was talking about selectors, right? So this is the selector video. So there are 23 videos. Use that. Enhance selector, more to learn. There are 10 videos. Then learn about computer AI vision, interview questions, right? UI interaction, state machines. 7 videos are there. So like that, you should continue. So this will then action center. Then you get slowly you will enter into advanced topic. So like that, you can continue and watch all the. I have got some bash scripting Python. They are different. So you can leave that, but anything related to UiPath modern design you would like to learn, I've got 11 videos, right? A document understanding, lot of things I have kept here. So simply scroll up and go through the playlist slowly and keep learning. So all the best, guys. I hope this video was of some help to you, and it is going to open the doors for you to learn UiPath in much more details with lot of examples, and all my videos are there as a guide to help you. So thank you, guys. Keep commenting, keep liking my contents. Thank you for watching this video. We're going to meet once again in our next contents. Thank you.